Hello there and welcome to ADcraft. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build this fantastic large Japanese house in your world. There is a full interior on this which I'll be showing you later on, and there is also a world download available, so don't go anywhere and let's get on with it. Here are the materials for the build. This doesn't include any of the interior, as you can put in whatever you like, but I will be showcasing that later in the build anyway. The footprint for the build is 31 by 39 blocks. You'll also need to leave an additional 3 blocks right the way around the build for the overhang on the roof. The first thing that we're going to do on the build is we're going to come to either one of the back corners and we're going to come inside this red line and we're going to count out 5 blocks. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th block we're going to place a dark oak plank. Then going towards the middle of the build, we're going to make that 3 wide. And then we're going to take that out a further 20 blocks, so it's going to be 21 blocks in total in this direction, and that's going to be 3 wide all the way. Once you've filled that in, at each of the ends, you're going to start building out a 3 wide line that's going to go right the way across the build. Then once you get to the far side, we are going to have another 3 wide line that goes up. So basically we're going to end up with this box that's dark oak planks and is 3 wide all the way around the edge of this space. With our 3 wide rectangle in place, we're then going to come to the front. So that's the section that we've got this big area here, and we're going to find the middle block here. So the middle block's here, and either side of that we're going to come out 3 more blocks, so we've got a total of 7. On top of these 7 we're going to come out a further 7 this way, which means we'll have a total of 8 on this corner, and we're going to fill in all of this space here. Facing the section that we've just finished, we're going to start placing where the pillars are going to be on the interior of this. So the first thing we're going to do is come to one of the corners at the front and place a block, and this is a stripped acacia log. And then we're going to leave 3 and place another one, leave 3 more and place another one, then we're going to leave 5, so 3, 4, 5 and place another one, leave 3, place 1, and then if we've done it right we'll leave 3 and we'll get another block here. Now coming down this wall, we're going to leave 2 first of all on the short side, then we're going to leave 3, then we're going to leave 3 again, and then 2, and if we've done that correctly, this should then line up. So we're going to put all of the pillars in. Again, the same pattern on this long side and the same pattern on the short side. On the back, though, the one thing we are going to do is place an extra block in the middle here. So we're going to have a 2 gap and a 2 gap rather than one big 5 gap there. So it will look just like this. So yeah, I'll just finish that off and then come back and we'll fill in the interior parts. Now that we've got those pillars in place, the next thing is we're going to place 2 more pillars, and those pillars are going to be where this bit so this is the entrance, where the entrance comes through and it's got the pillars on the outside. We're going to put 1 in line with that and in line with the middle on the side, and we're going to do that for both sides. So again, looking down this line here, and when it matches up with this, that's where we're going to place a pillar. In between each of these pillars right the way around the outside, we're going to take some of the oak logs and we're going to fill them in just in between the pillars like this, and that's going to go all the way around the sides. Make sure that you've got the bark side facing, so you'll be wanting to place against the blocks at the side, and this will come all the way around the edge. Now we're also going to have 2 lines going across the middle, and the 2 lines are going to be looking at the front of this build, where this block is and where this block is. And again, those are going to go right the way to the back of the build, just again keeping the bark going in the same direction. So we're going to fill those all in. With that framework laid out, we're just going to fill in the floors, and we're going to use the strip birch logs as tatami mats, and we're going to do that by placing all of them, and it does need to be in this orientation, going from the front to the back in 3 lines, and we're going to do that all the way along. Obviously 5 lines for the middle one, but we're going to fill those in all of these gaps, all going in the same direction. Now the flooring's done, we're going to add the pillars, and these pillars are going to go right the way around the outside. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to place a pillar at either side of this, and this is going to be the doorway in the front. Each of these pillars that we build is going to come up to a total of 5 blocks, but I'm just going to show you the placements for them rather than building them all up. So what we're going to do here is we're going to leave 3 blocks, and then we're going to place 1 and then 3 blocks, and it should bring us here just in line with this. Then we're going to mirror what we've got inside, place 1 on the corner and bring it to this corner, and we're going to do that on the other side as well. Then at the back of the build, again, we're going to bring it here and then just mirror all of these lines where we've got the stripped acacia here, including this middle one at the back, because that's why we've placed it there. So that's going to go all the way across. Now for each of the sides, it's slightly different. So starting from the front on both sides, you're going to leave 3 blocks gap, which brings it offset with this. And then another 3 blocks, which again brings it offset. And then this one matches up. So you've got in between, you've got 2, 2, 2, and then 3, 3, and then a 2 at the front again. So do that on the same on the other side. So 3 blocks, 3 blocks, 2 blocks, 2 blocks for matching up with this side, and fill all of these into 5 high. For the interior pillars now, we are going to come in and we're going to use the stripped acacia logs, and we're going to bring these up, and they're going to be 1 block higher than the pillars on the outside, and we're just literally going to do that for each and every one of these pillars that we have here. Now for all of the exterior ones as well, on the main section, so not these 4 at the front, but everything else, we're also going to add a single stripped acacia log on top to bring everything to the same height. So we'll have all these pillars in the middle and the ones around the edge done. To add some cross beams now, we are going to come to these 2 middle pillars. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to come up 1, 2, 3, and on the 4th block, we're going to connect directly across between these 2 pillars. So we've got this H shape. Then we're going to come out from the pillars at the front and the back as well. So doing it this way and this way, all the way to the edge on both sides. And then on one of the sides, so we're going to be choosing the left-hand side as the front entrance comes in, we're going to connect across to the pillar on the edge like this. Then the next step is to just connect all the way around the outside of the build like so, with again these stripped acacia logs. And we are going to add 2 more additional ones on the 2 sides, so the 2 short sides just coming out like this at the front and at the back as well. So yeah, it's going to connect all the way around the edge. We're going to have these interior lines as well, but the most important thing is that we're going to leave the line that comes across between these 2 pillars on the right. Now we're going to add ourselves a higher level of the crossbeam. So the first thing we're going to do is on this entrance block, and we're going to use a temporary block, doesn't matter what it is. Just place a block here so we can place a line of the spruce across and get rid of that. Then using the stripped acacia, again, temporary block, and we're going to bring those across like so and get rid of the edge block. Now here we are going to start connecting all of these up using the stripped acacia, and this is going to go all the way around the outside, all the way down the 2 sides, all the way through from the interior as well and round the edge. And what we're basically going to do is on this top level a full framework that connects up. So where we've just connected here, we're going to connect above that. We're also going to connect on all of these coming across like so. So yeah, this is just going to be a complete crossover of all of the lines. And again, this one will come right the way to the back and then connect up across. And we'll connect this up as well on both the sides. So this is all going to go and be connected up. Now what we are going to do for these blocks, once we've done the edge around here, is we are going to use the internal blocks as the ones, the internal pillars as the ones we're going to build from. So we're not going to use this offset version for the exterior, we're going to use these interior ones and just bring them across like that. And then once we're done, everything should then be connected up. We've got that framework in place now, and we're going to switch to some white concrete. So we're going to come to the front of the build first of all, and we're going to build this up right the way on the inside, up on either side of the door, and then at the top we're going to have a line of the white concrete going along. Now we're going to carry this line on at that same level all the way around the exterior of the build, and by the exterior of the build I mean not on these cross beams going on inside, but everywhere on the outside of the build going around like this. So it will just connect up a single white line in between, just beneath this acacia line that we've got here. There are a couple of sections that we are going to then fill up as well. So this 2 wide section at the front, we're going to bring all of the white concrete up to the top. The other section that we're going to fill in is this 2 wide section on the side at the back. So we're going to fill all of those in But other than that, it's just going to be a single line that goes right the way round the edge of the build just beneath this acacia. Next, we're going to go into the build itself. So we're going to go inside now, and we'll see the framework that we've got here. We're going to take some acacia planks this time, and where we've got this cross beam, we're going to place some acacia planks here, and then we're going to place some more acacia planks up to this bit that lines up with the entranceway. So we're going to do this at the back on this side, we're going to do this at the front on this side. So we've got the 6, the 3 and the 3 and the 2 there, and we'll do the same on the other side as well. So we're going to fill all of those in. Now on the interior, where we have these gaps, by the interior I mean just on these blocks from the edge, not on this edge side, we're going to fill all of these in with some white concrete. This is the one obviously we just left, but we're going to fill this bit in as well, and then this in right the way across, and this in right the way across here as well. So those are all going to be filled in. Using the white concrete again, then we're going to fill in this gap above the acacia that we've just placed as well on each of these, and bring that round to the side and do that on all of the sides. And then the final touch that we're going to be doing is coming up a little bit. We are going to be placing some jungle trapdoors on the blocks. Now we're going to be placing them from the edge, so we're in the edge and we're going to be placing them facing towards the middle. So wherever we are, we're placing these towards the middle and then opening them up like this to give the edge detail. So this is why we're only placing the white concrete in the middle like so. So we'll go right the way around the edge. When we get to the do these two, when we get inside here, again we're facing towards the middle and placing them like this, and we'll do that right the way across, including this front section here. Now we're going to add some walkways going around the build. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take some of the dark oak slabs and we're going to place those at the top of the block here. Obviously not going onto this red line, not going past this edge, but we're just going to run that all the way along here, all the way round here, and also along the front and down the other side. We're also going to run these along in a straight line at the back here, just for 1 block deep. So we'll fill those all in. With this one wide walkway in place, we're going to start filling in the gaps in between these pillars, each of these uprights, with some more of the top slabs. And we're going to do that everywhere that doesn't line up with a pillar, and then just do that right the way around, and the same at the back of the build. Now for these 2 at the front, we're also going to knock out these 2 corner blocks like so, and we're going to start placing some upside down stairs as some support. So here on the front of the build, we are going to be placing them sideways, and then basically the rule is that you always have your back to the build with whatever stair you're placing, and then these ones will go out, and then for the 2 side ones like this, again we'll be moving our way down this side of the build. For the edge ones again here, we're just going to place them the other way, placing them out to the side with everything else facing the build. So we'll have the walkway going around like this, and we'll do exactly the same as the back, lining them up with the pillars, and then just having these very edge ones going out on the side like so. Now that walkway is fully done, we are going to start placing ourselves a fence going around it. And this fence is going to be pretty simple. We're just going to place a spruce fence post everywhere that lines up with one of these, not that, but that, one of these pillars right the way along. And then we are going to fill in every single one of the gaps with a spruce fence gate like so. So that's going to go all the way along the back. And then to show you at the front, we're going to do exactly the same. So we're going to place a fence post all the way around. So this one here, we will go into the corner just so it connects up. And that's going to come around again, one for the corner. And then we're going to place another fence post next to it. So we're going to have 2 fence posts there. And then just carry on with the build. On the front, we are going to add some stairs. So we're going to add a set of 3 stairs here. We're going to add that needs to be an upside down stair. So you might want to do this before you place in the fence posts. This one can be a bit tricky, and you might want to place a block to place against. So we're going to again do the same here, place a block to place against, and then we've got this nice detailing going round. 1 fence post on here and 1 down at the bottom. So again, 1 fence post here and down at the bottom, and then filling these in as we did at the back with the spruce fence gates all the way around. Now we're going to add the door, and we're going to add the detailing to this entrance section. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to come inside and we're going to place 3 jungle doors like so. Then we're going to go through these jungle doors and we're going to place some upside down dark oak stairs just above them like this. Going back inside very quickly and coming up, we are going to place 3 jungle trapdoors on top of the dark oak, and that will give us the entrance. Now in each of these 4 sections on the side here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take our birch trapdoors, placing them from the inside outwards, and then we're going to place another 2 lines on top of them. So you've got 9 with a final line of the jungle trapdoors, and that is then going to be all closed or open depending on which way you look at it. So from the outside you've got a nice wall of them like that. So do each of those 4 sections. Now we're going to do the partitions for the sides, and there is also going to be a doorway in here. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to create the doorway, and we're going to come to the back of the build, not this first gap but the second gap. We're going to place ourselves 3 blocks up, so on the 3rd block some upside down jungle stairs. Then we're going to come inside the build and place 2 sets of jungle doors here, and then flying up we're going to place 2 of the jungle trapdoors on top. So that gives us some doorways, so it's a bit secure. Now what we're going to do on the sides of the build is we're going to add some of the partitions. So this build is based on a build that has got sliding partitions. Obviously you can't have those in the game, so we're going to make our own using some birch trapdoors and some birch doors. Firstly, we're going to place 2 birch doors down in this gap. Then we're going to come up and then place 2 of the trapdoors on top, with 2 of the jungle trapdoors on top of that, and close them. And what you will see from the outside for that is it gives this look that you've got these sliding partitions. Now you can fill all of these in with walls if you want, but because they are sliding partitions, the other thing that you can do is make it so some of them are open. So for example, on this next one, let's say that there was a gap here and that the partition had slid. So what we will do is just simply fill in the 2 blocks here and then leave this gap so you can actually get through that hole. And equally here you might do the same, but we might put 1 this side and place then the trapdoor and the jungle trapdoor on top. Get those all closed, and as you can see you've got this depth because you can see into the build itself. So do that on all of these, have them as open or as closed, just leaving gaps as you wish, and then we'll deal with the front and the back. And for these sections the principle is going to be the same that we've used on the sides, only these ones we can actually do it slightly better. So we can place some doors here, we can also then come inside and place a door against it the other way. So as you can see, these now line up, and we can then make it look like it is overlapping on these because we've got the extra block in front. Once we've done this, I'll show you how that looks. Close all of these, and this just adds that extra little bit of detail, so it really does look like this one has slid in front of this here. So yeah, again, however you want to do the partitions, whether they're open or closed, do this on the front and the back because you've got the extra block to place on. Moving back inside the build now, we are going to be placing some more partitions. So what we're going to do is we're going to place some partitions in these doorways, and basically it's going to be at the edge of the build itself, and also just on these front sections too. So we're not going to place any in this middle section, but all of these edge sections, and again not in this big room, but here across that side we're going to place some partitions. We're going to place some partitions here. We've got these 2 here, and we're going to also place some in all of the edges around this. However you want to have them open or closed, again it's entirely up to you, just whatever you think feels right, however the view you want to be. Do you want it to be open plan more so, or do you want it to be something that's a bit more closed off? So once you've done, I'll pop these ones in place. The one thing to note is what you do need to do is make sure that you've got a regular door with a trapdoor on top like so for these ones, because we are going to be using some ladders and shift clicking in here to bring this up. We're going to have that as our access up to the second floor. But everything else, just fill in as you see fit some of these partitions. I'll show you what I've done once I've done it. So when that's done, you can have a result that looks something like this. So I've got some big openings, I've got some smaller openings, some that are closed entirely. And yeah, it just adds some real good depth to the build whenever you've got these partitions, and they look fantastic. So next step we're going to do is to add in a ceiling to this place, and we're going to do that using the oak slabs. So with the oak slabs, we're going to come to the top block here, and we're going to fill in right the way from the front all the way through the build in each of these gaps, and it's always going to be the top block. The only block that we don't fill in, of course, is our ladder way up, and we fill in everything else with these blocks, with the floor, and again here as well. So let's get this flooring done, and then let's move on to the upstairs and the roof. With those slabs in place, we're going to add just a little bit of detailing up here. So what we're going to do is not on the edge, but the first set of blocks in, wherever we've got the end of a stripped acacia, we're going to add an additional block just going around the build like this. Now in between each of those, from the outside facing in, we're going to place ourselves a line of jungle trapdoors in here. So this is going to work with the roof once we've done, in order to just give us a nice detail on the interior. So we'll do that all the way around. The other thing that we're going to do whilst we're on this stage is getting ourselves some of the lanterns just from the bottom here. We are going to place a lantern against each of these blocks that we've placed, and what this will do is it won't light up the entire thing. We'll still need some additional lighting, but when you're looking through, then it just gives a lovely little lighting effect through these trapdoors that you can see, just the glow coming through from behind there. So do that all the way around the build, and again including this bit here coming between the two, so we'll have trapdoors right the way along there. Next we're going to start with the first level of the roof. And for this, well, first two levels really, we are going to be placing some of the lovely new deep slate tiles right the way around the build on this block, just inside the acacia, and on top of the acacia we're going to be placing some tiled slabs. So this is going to go round from this block here, either side of this entranceway, to this block here on the other side of the entranceway. So we're going to wrap this right the way round. Now we're going to add some blocks onto this front section. So firstly we're going to place a tile on either side here, and then we're going to use some of the stairs and we're going to run these out along this edge. We're going to go 2 of the deep slate tiles past. I'm going to do that on both sides, so we'll fill that in, and then we're going to go 2 deep slate tiles past the edge. And then on the inside of these, we are going to place 2 upside down tiles like so. Now we're going to fill in some concrete just in this front space, and we're going to fill in a T shape like that. Now back to the deep slate tiles, we're going to place 1 on here. We're going to come out 1 further this way, and we're going to run this line all the way round on top of these. We're going to run another line from the same point all the way round just inside this, and once we've done that, so it's going to be 2 wide going all the way round, we are then going to come and place against it a slab going all the way round as well. So we're going to do that right the way through back to the other side. For the entranceway, we're going to add a deep slate tile on each side, and then using the stairs we're going to run these across right the way through to the front of the build like so, and it's going to come level with these end bits, and then just in this apex here we're going to put an upside down stair. So fill in both the sides of those stairs, and then we'll get on to the next levels. Next, on top of the roof, we've got to the point where we're going to start building up the A-frame. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to come level with this edge that we've got here. So this is the back of the build coming level here, and then we're going to build out a line of the tiles right the way across the build, all the way across on the back. Here we go, and then we're also going to put a line of the slabs just in front of that. So we're still carrying on that half slab increase going up there. So we'll do that right the way across the back of the build. We're also going to do the same at the front of the build. So we come to this corner and we place the blocks, and these blocks will then come all the way across, right the way through like so. And we're going to do the same again with the slabs, but once we get to the middle, we're going to miss this middle block. And the reason for that is we're actually going to be using some polished deep slate and bringing that out for the apex of this little roof portion. We're going to bring that right to the end, and then on the very end we're going to use a polished deep slate wall. So get both of those filled in. For the first level of the A-frame, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come one block past the edge here, and we're just going to build these deep slate tiles right the way across. We're then also going to use some deep slate tile stairs and place a stair upside down here and here with an oak plank, a dark oak plank rather, and a dark oak stair upside down on the inside of that, just like so. And then in between these we're going to have the deep slate tile slabs and just fill those in, so do that at both the ends. On this next level, the first thing we're going to do is from this upside down stair, we're going to run a line of stairs that's going to go right the way across the build to the other edge. And we're going to do that on both the sides like this. Once we've done that, what we're going to do is we are going to take some oak trapdoors and fill these in between the stairs on the tile blocks that we've got at the back. Then in front of that, we're going to place a dark oak plank with an upside down dark oak stair and a deep slate tile stair upside down just in front of that. So we'll do that at both ends and link these up. Now that we've done that, we're going to do pretty much exactly the same again. So we're going to run another line of these stairs going right the way across the build on both sides, like this. And in between, and again we'll have to shift click because of the trapdoors that we've got here, we're going to place a line of trapdoors going across. Bit fiddly, shouldn't have really opened the ones beneath, but there we go, and that's done. And then again with the dark oak plank here, stair going the right way of course, and then the stair for the tiles here as well. So we'll do that again at both sides and run the stairs right the way through. The next layer we do exactly the same again, the only difference being this time we're going to place 3 of the dark oak blocks in the middle, so there's not going to be any stairs. But again, we will place the trapdoors on here, like so, get these open, and also then get the deep slate tile stairs in place across the build and on the 2 sides. Now we're going to get a jungle trapdoor. We're going to come underneath here, we're going to shift, and then we're going to place a trapdoor there. And then once we flop that down, it gives us a nice bit of decoration. On top of the dark oak, we are going to place a tile block, and then we are also going to place an upside down stair against that. We're going to then carry on the stairs going right the way across the build on both the sides of this. And now the easiest thing to do, and the best way to do this, is to bring all of the full blocks out in the middle, and then it gives you something that's much easier to place against. So fill all of those in, and then we've just got one layer for the apex. The finishing touch to this roof is going to be a line of the chiseled deep slate that's going to run right the way across. Then on top of that, the first block we're going to have a lantern, and the rest of the blocks we're going to have a polished deep slate tile that runs right the way along the roof, and do the same at the other end. Moving to the bottom section of this roof now, the first thing that we're going to do is on top of this concrete, we're going to run a line of the deep slate tiles that's going to come all the way out to the edge here. Then we're going to place 2 stairs upside down against that underneath. Now what we're going to do, once we've done that on both the sides, we are going to take our deep slate tile slabs and run a line of these that's going to go right the way around the build at the top of the block all the way round. Once we've done that all the way around, we're going to come back here and we're going to take a line of the full blocks, and we're going to run that along as well, so it'll look like it's too wide. So we'll have a line of the slabs and then a line of the full blocks. Now we're going to deal with the corners once we've connected all of this round, and we're going to do this on each of the corners. And what we're going to do is we're first of all going to place 2 blocks on each side, so just basically extending this out. Then in between that, we're going to place a slab like this, and then we're going to place another line of the slabs just coming up to level to this point, so this corner is going to be missing. And on top of that, we're going to place a temporary slab and have it so it comes up like this. So from the underside, you'll be able to see it's stepping up, and then from the top, it's basically flat. So we'll do that on each of the corners. The next step is coming to the front of the build again, and we are going to be placing a line of the slabs going down the side of the front entrance, and then a 2 wide line of the slabs coming out equal to and level with where we've just placed this area that flicks up on the corners. And so then coming around the side again, we're going to carry this on the 2 wide sections so it comes out level with the edge here, and we'll do that all the way round. At the front of the build, we are going to add a deep slate tile underneath here, which is going to give us a platform that we can then run a line of these deep slate tiles, the slabs even, right the way across the build. So this is going to step down 1 further block. Underneath that, we are going to place another full block like so, and then we're going to run this right the way parallel to this again to the wall. So we've got a top slab and a bottom slab next to each other, which gives us the finishing touch and the finishing slope for this wall. So we're going to do that on both the sides. Now we're going to add the finishing decoration to the outside of the build, and we're going to start with this entranceway. So the first thing we're going to do is put a lantern up here and then one in this space underneath. What we're then going to do is put an oak trapdoor just in front of that, with a jungle trapdoor that's flapped down just in front of that. We're going to add 2 more lanterns, 1 on either side of the door, and then we're going to add 2 more here and just here as well. And then what we're going to do is get some of our dark oak signs and run a line of them just above the jungle trapdoors that we have. Next, we are going to, standing on the inside of the build and working next to this lantern that we've got, we are going to place every other block a nice acacia trapdoor that runs through. And then in between these, we're going to place some lanterns whenever we get to one of these wall pillar sections. Finally, we're going to add some more lanterns, and you can place these anywhere you like around the build, just at random intervals, but you can place them normally on the fence posts like so, and that should light up everything outside the build itself. For the main build, we are going to follow the same pattern all the way round. And so firstly, again, we're going to have our back to the build, and then 1, 2, and on the 3rd block out, we're going to place a line of the acacia trapdoors, and that line is going to go right the way through and line up with this full block that we have on the edge here. So this is where it changes height, and then we will turn the corner and carry on down this way, and so that will go all the way around the build with these edges just coming to this point. For the corners, we're then going to go out diagonally like so, and then starting on, if I can get over the fence post, not on the first block but on the 2nd block, we're then going to place 2 more trapdoors like this, skip a block and place 2 more. If I can place them in the right places, excellent, there we go, and like this. So that will then meet up with this side. Obviously this is where the edge finishes, so we'll need to come outside the wall, but we're going to do exactly the same here. Just every other block we're going to be filling in some of these acacia trapdoors, and we'll do that right the way around the build. The final touches for the outside of this build are we're going to add some lighting. So firstly, we're going to add 1 lantern hanging on this highest slab that we've got. Then we're going to add 1 on either side of this, and from the corners we're going to work out each time. So we're going to skip 1 and place a lantern, skip 1 and place a lantern. Obviously we can't go any further because of that. And then this side we're going to skip 1, place a lantern, skip 1, place a lantern, and then do the same from this other corner. So we'd have the 2 in here, a lantern, skip 1, lantern, skip 1, lantern, and that will line up on this side. On the back we do exactly the same, so skip 1 lantern, skip 1 lantern, and then skip 1 lantern for a 3rd time, and then do the same from the other side. So lantern, lantern. And then with this we can probably just do 1 more lantern like so, and yep, that brings us to the edge. So put the lanterns all the way around. The other thing that you might want to do is, if you are building this in survival, then you don't want things actually spawning on your roof, so there's quite a lot of spawnable spaces here. You might want to take some blackstone buttons and actually start filling in some of these spaces with the buttons, and that will just mean that it will be mob proof, and that will be this layer, and this layer as well, also that one, and in here. So like I say, quite a lot of spawnable spaces, but yeah, unless you want creepers spawning on your roof, it's worth going through and adding some buttons on there as well. So I have finished the build, and it's now copied into my Japanese showcase world. So as you can see, I've got all of the builds from the previous episodes on the series, And this world is available for you to download via my Discord, as is the world that I was demonstrating on. But now let's go and have a look at the build, because I've also added a full interior into this. So let's go and see how that looks. So the first thing that we'll notice here is we've got some little showcases for some weapons. So we've got a katana here, and then we've got some nunchucks using some of the new lightning rods on the other side. I think that this is a really good way to display some things and just gives a bit of visual interest. Now we head into the main build, and we've got a little table area here with some low slung seating and obviously some sushi there. Coming through from this, we've got a little sunken cooking area, and there we've got a campfire underneath the campfire that's been put out to give that smoke effect into the cauldron, and some little candles there as well, flickering away there, with plenty of banners as well around this place. So if you're interested in the Japanese banners, check out my 10 Japanese banner video. I'll probably do an updated version of that soon and maybe add a couple more banners. So we've now got the sleeping area here, and as we head back through the cooking area, we've got here a lovely shrine area. So this was gonna always be the focal point of the build, because this is based on a Japanese shrine and rock garden. And yeah, I just love the little design here, particularly now that we've got the glowing item frames, which just make everything so much better. Moving on to the final area of the build now, if we head through here and head up, we've got the main storage area. So what I've done is I've just created some chests and just tried to make them look a bit different, just to try and fit them in with the build itself. Here we've actually got everything that you could possibly need. So if we go under here, you've got a water source there, and then here we have some brewing, all hidden away. All the things that don't look particularly Japanese in the game. Here we've got ourselves the ender chest there, and over here we've got ourselves a level 30 enchanting setup, and yeah, plenty of furnaces as well. A nice little touch here, obviously using the walls in between them just to add a bit of depth to the build as well, with all of the crafting and bits and pieces that you could possibly need in the build. So this would work fantastically as a full survival base. So yeah, everything that you need is in here. But all that's left to be said is I hope that you have enjoyed this build. If you have, please do let me know in the comments. Please also leave a like on the video, it really does help. And above all, make sure that you do subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any future videos. Check out all the other videos in the series, and I will see you next time on ADcraft. Bye!